She was sitting in first class, comfortably waiting for takeoff when it happened. A group of passengers surrounded her, loudly discussing how she didn't belong there. "You're not supposed to be here. You don't look like the other passengers." "How did you afford this?" they asked her, sneering. As a single mom with a high-paying job, she could easily afford a first-class ticket. She just preferred to save money and travel in economy. But this time she had a bonus and decided to treat herself. Still, she knew better than to sit back and relax. She always braced for turbulence, especially after she heard the passengers behind her discussing how to kick her off the flight. "Hey ma'am, can you please move? We were seated here before you, and it would mean a lot to us if you moved to another seat," said a man who turned out to be a police officer. He was trying to persuade her, but his tone sounded more like an order. She politely refused, though, explaining that she had paid for that seat too. The officer left and returned with some backup. More officers approached her and demanded she leave. "I am not going to move from my seat," she said firmly, but they pulled her out anyway. A flight attendant tried to intervene, but the man simply ignored her. "This is your only warning. If you don't get out of here, we will make things difficult for you," he threatened. Startled, she stood up and walked away from the man, slowly making her way to the back of the plane. As she walked past the seats, she could feel their stares burning holes in her back. Suddenly, a piercing voice cut through the tension. "What is wrong with you people? Why are you treating her like this? She hasn't done anything to you?" A male passenger yelled at the top of his lungs. Startled by the sudden outburst, everyone turned to face the source of the commotion. It was the pilot. He stepped out of his seat, his expression grave. "Ma'am, I am so sorry about what these people have said and done to you. I would like to offer you my apologies and ask you to return to your seat," he said, extending his hand. Hesitantly, she placed her hand in his, feeling a mix of gratitude and confusion. The pilot led her back to her original seat, ignoring the angry glares from the man and his companions. Once seated, she felt a sense of relief wash over her. But her composure was shattered when the man leaned over and whispered something in the officer's ear. The officer's eyes widened in realization, and he turned to her, his demeanor instantly changing. "I am so sorry, ma'am. I had no idea. Please accept my sincerest apologies. I would like to offer you my seat instead," he said, gesturing to the seat beside him. Confused, she looked at the pilot, who only shrugged in response. "It's okay. I understand," she replied, still puzzled. As she settled into the new seat, she noticed the man and his friends exchanging uneasy glances. That their faces were pale and their eyes were filled with regret. The pilot turned to the man, his voice now firm and commanding. "Sir, I suggest you and your friends spend the remaining flight reflecting on your behavior. Perhaps you should consider why you treated this woman so poorly when she had done nothing to deserve it," he said, his gaze piercing through the man's facade. The man's face flushed with shame, and he looked away, unable to meet the pilot's intense stare. As the plane took off, the pilot leaned closer to her, his tone now softer. "I am truly sorry about what happened to you back there. I saw the way those men looked at you. It was disgusting. Please let me buy you a drink as a token of apology," he said, his eyes filled with sincerity. Touched by his kindness, she accepted his offer. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. After the pilot left, the woman took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart. As she glanced around, she noticed the shocked expressions on the faces of the passengers. They were staring at her as if she had just revealed something extraordinary. Suddenly it dawned on her. why the pilot had reacted so strongly to her presence. A small part of her back was visible, bearing the marks of her past. The scars were a testament to her service in the military, a reminder of the battles she had fought and the sacrifices she had made. The passengers had mocked her without realizing who she truly was. They had judged her based on her appearance, failing to see the valor that lay beneath her civilian clothes. In that moment, she realized that their prejudice and ignorance had blinded them to her identity. They had targeted her for no apparent reason, subjecting her to humiliation and degradation solely for the pleasure of wielding power. But their actions had backfired, exposing their own prejudices and reminding her of the strength she possessed. She was a decorated veteran, a symbol of courage and sacrifice. And no matter what challenges she faced, she would rise above them, carrying the pride of her service in her heart.